Welcome to DevMaster Hub Responsive Web Design Series, learning HTML by building a cat photo app. Today we're gonna start with step 51 to 60. Please consider subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification. You already know. Let's go to the challenge. The form the form data for the button is based on the name and value attribute. Since your radio buttons do not have a value attribute, the form data will include indoor outdoor equal on, which is not useful when you have multiple buttons. Add a value attribute to both radio buttons for convenience. Set the button's value attribute to the same value as the ID attribute. Okay, that means add a value attribute to the radio button. Give it the same as the ID. So I'm gonna add value attribute to the first radio button, which is the indoor, and the second radio button supposed to have another value, which is the same name as the ID. Okay, input output indoor outdoor. Okay, now let's go for the step 52. Step 52. The field element is used to group related input and label together in the web form. Field set element are block level element, meaning that they appear in a new line. Nest the indoor and outdoor radio button within a field set element and don't forget to indent radio buttons. So now I can add a field set attribute, a field set element. Okay, so the field set element gonna be indented, so well there too. So the field set element, I nested I nest the input inside of the field set element. Okay, good. So now I can check it. So field set, so in the field I missed the D here and the S here, so it's good now. Okay, step 53. The legend element act has a caption for the content and field set element. It gives user context about what they should enter into the part of the form. So add a legend element with the text, is your cat an indoor or outdoor cat, above both radio buttons. So they say to add a legend element here. So the legend element is going to contain a text. Okay, the text will be is your cat, an indoor or so an outdoor cat with the question mark. So yes, the legend element gonna be this way. It should be good. Okay. Step 54. Next, you are going to add some new form input element. So add another field set element directly below the current field set. So now I'm gonna add other input. So now we can see how it is. This is how it is. The legend is your cat, an indoor or outdoor cat, and the input are here. So after that, I'm gonna add another field set, which is for the next input that we're gonna have here. So the field set is good. Okay, so it's field set, so I always forget the D. Okay, so now the step 55, add a legend element. Okay, with this text inside of the field set. So now I'm gonna add a legend element inside of it. So okay, which is what's your cat okay personality. Okay, add your cat personality. So if you want to see it, the next field set is this one. So it's good. Okay, the 56, form commonly are checkbox says for question that may have more than one answer. The input element with the type attribute set to checkbox create a checkbox. Under the legend element you just added, add an input with the type attribute set to checkbox and gives it an option of loving. Okay, so I gonna write right here an input. Okay, element with the type set to checkbox. Okay, okay, okay. The type attribute set to checkbox and give it an option. So I'm gonna give it an option loving. So loving. Okay, so now if I check the code, it says the text loving should be located directly to the right of your checkbox. Make sure there is a space between the element and the text, so you have either omit text or have a typo. So I just put a space between them and it's good. So now to see what it is here, inside of the field I have a checkbox loving. So add an ID with the value loving 2 inside of the checkbox. So I'm gonna add an ID loving. Okay, so it's good. The 58 now. Step 58. There's another way to associate an input element text with the element itself. So you can nest the text within the label element and add a for attribute with the same value as the input element ID attribute. Give a input element as below. So I have an input element with the ID, type, name and value. Okay, as an example of label, the label I can give it the for attribute. Okay, associate loving with the checkbox by nesting only the text loving and a label element and give it an appropriate for attribute. So only the text loving, I can say another label for it. So here I can add it a label here. So the label gonna be within the appropriate attribute. So the for attribute should be the same as the ID. The ID is loving, the attribute gonna be loving. Okay, so when I check it, it says your label element should have the text loving. So I need to close it next to it. There should be a space between the checkbox and the new label. Okay, here I can put a space here. Okay, it's good. So now let's go for the step 59. Now step 59, add a name attribute with the value personality to the checkbox input element. While you won't notice this in the browser, doing this makes it easier for a server to process your web form, especially when there are multiple checkboxes. Okay, they say to add a name attribute with the value personality to the checkbox input. So give it a name attribute with the value of personality. Okay, the name value personality. Okay, so now step 60, add another checkbox element to after one you just added. The ID attribute should be lazy the name attribute should be the same as the checkbox. Okay, add a label element to the right of the new checkbox with the text lazy. Make sure to associate the label with the new checkbox using the for attribute. So now we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna add another input. Okay, another input with the ID set to lazy. So the ID is gonna set to lazy. That's why they say the ID set to lazy. The name attribute should be the same. So the name gonna be personality. So the name is the personality, and the type is gonna be checkbox. Okay, the type is gonna be a checkbox. So after it, so I supposed to add a label element. So the label element will have the for attribute set to personality. So and the value is gonna be lazy. Okay, so it's gonna still be the same. So now we can check the code. Okay, you do the new label now. If the for attribute should be the same as the ID is lazy. Okay, the for attribute cannot be the personality, it should be lazy. Okay, okay, so now we stop here for this video. Please consider subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification so you can still go along with me while I reviewing the freeCodeCamp curriculum. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification in order to be notified for all the video that we release. Thank you for watching.